Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to In Love with Kimberly Michael on Savage Cobb Entertainment. I am her, she is me. I have been away for a few weeks, and this is my first night back in 3 weeks, probably at least 3 weeks, maybe longer. It may have been a month. I was at capacity, like overstimulated in every way possible. And I needed a mental break. So that's what I did. And so I shut down my social media for a couple of weeks. I didn't really post or do anything. And I shut down all both my podcasts as well. So my point is, the first day back, I would love to get rowdy. That would be great. So welcome back to everyone who is coming back. Please make sure that you subscribe, like, and share the shit out of the show, as I like to say. For those of you who don't know me, it is challenging for me to keep up with the comments, so I will take pause breaks and read. But this evening, I want to have a conversation about what we as women are creating, because I think we're creating baby daddies. I think we're creating baby daddies. Literally, we are creating them with the things that we're doing and our behaviors. They didn't even maybe they would have been more or, involved. I don't know. I mean, of course, you can't say now when there's some past tense shit going on, but I mean, I saw this video this week, and it was on TikTok, of course, and it was this guy like playing with his dog, and the girl. Normally, I do pay attention to some of that stuff, just because people still shock me. Maybe they shouldn't, but people still people still really shock me, almost like to a naive level sometimes, where I think, I watch something and I can't believe that somebody would do that. And Gilly made a point, and I've said it before too, and so I get it, but I needed to hear it. Definitely, Gilly said, I don't know what I was going to say. I'll tell you in a minute. You guys. So on top of me needing a mental break, let me just say, to give me some leeway here for a moment, give me a break give myself a break. I have also been sick twice. So I was really sick, and I came back and I did a show, and then I got sick again and ended up in the ER or whatever. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, I literally feel like I'm still recovering from being sick. Like, I'm definitely extremely tired today. But I have also, really been putting some brain power in the last few days to make shit happen. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Women creating baby daddies is what the show is about. And again, this video, if I remember what I was going to say, I'll go back and tell you. But anyway, there's this guy, he's like playing with his dog, and the words across the thing say, if you're my old man, if this is you, or you're my old manager who we used to do it in the car across the street from our job, I just want to tell you. And then it flashes from him playing with the dog to this beautiful little girl, and she's like, that you have a 2-year-old child. Can y'all see my face? To me, and I'm again, these are strictly how I feel about shit, and I cannot imagine being a man and your homeboy call you up and say, hey man, Your ass is all over TikTok. You got a baby girl. Now, this baby girl has been completely out of this man's life. He has had no knowledge of her. I mean, I'll have to look at the video, but if I am not mistaken, Jay, did you watch the video again? I am almost absolutely positive. I could be wrong because I'm going by looks, but I'm almost absolutely positive that the mama is a white lady. And the dad, I know the dad's a brother, but I'm almost positive that the mama's a white lady. And I understand that there will be people who don't see the relevance in that, but I'm going to tell you the relevance in that. And this is incredibly serious as far as I'm concerned. If you have a child that has a different ethnicity than you, it is imperative, especially if they are visibly different than you, if you will. It is imperative that you have those influences in their life. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. Even my kids have, said to me, they all three have different ideas about it, but, there is a lack when I speak to my children because I'm white. And, it's important to have that influence. So I say that, don't know her background, never seen her friends. I don't know who she hangs with and who she doesn't. I'm just saying that those 2 years without a father that resembles her, again, I don't know what this woman has done, how she's raised her, who she's been around, who she hasn't been around. I'm just speaking on the fact that all of these factors, this is not just about a lady having a child and not telling a man. There's a multitude of things that go on when we as women choose these behaviors. And I don't know the circumstances, and I don't know what was going on. And he could have rejected her and her child at that point when she told him. He could have embraced her and that child. She could have been in a situation where she, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I don't care, but she shouldn't have been in a situation where she was in this situation then, if she was with somebody or whatever be the case. But how are you not creating a baby daddy? Like, what about the first thing and he finds out about this? I mean, as men, I can't speak for y'all, but I would think men or a woman, but I mean, that's an impossibility. Not really, but like if somebody gave somebody up for adoption and then, met them maybe. But I would think that a man, being told years later that they have a child and that they have, I mean, there's no making that up. Like you can't, I can't give you the time that you have lost, the memories that may have been incurred. Again, this dude could have screw you. I don't give a shit, and fine. That would have been his choice. And I still feel the same way about that child being surrounded by people who look like him or her. I still feel that way strongly. I strongly feel that way. I don't, how do you even as a man and a woman mend the fact that you were deceitful, that you kept this from him, that this child is 2 years old and has never met her father? Not to mention you've blasted him nationally all over TikTok. I mean, she didn't necessarily depict him in any kind of way, but if you watch the video, if you watch the video, to me personally, It kind of does. Like I don't know. There's just something, and maybe I'm wrong because everybody could have a different perception of this video. Everybody could obviously think a different way, as they should. I mean, perception is what it is. But my perception was it was kind of, sort of, a little bit, maybe just a smidgen like that. Like I could be wrong, but that's just kind of how I felt about it. And so I don't. I've sent a lot of stuff to Jay in the last couple of days. I've I've seen some really amazing things. I don't know what I'm going to do with the information that I've gathered over the last few days, but like the stuff that women are saying and the stuff that, yeah. Jay's going to play the video too. Jay's going to go ahead and play the video, and he may play it later too, but this is the video. Hopefully it's still up. Hopefully it's still on. Hopefully it hasn't been taken down. But Jay's going to play the video in a minute of what I'm talking about from TikTok. I hope it's there. And if it's not, I'll go find another version like this. Somebody stitched it or duetted or whatever. But I bet you she didn't take it down. And I'm curious to see. I wanted to go back and look too to see how many people had, how many likes that it had. How many likes that it had. Okay, well, maybe he's going to. Maybe he's going to. What video? You asked me. You want me to send it to you again? Hold on. Let me send it to you again. If you click on that where I'm talking, right above, I said this one it's in your thing. I said, if you click on those words, it'll take you to the video. It doesn't look like a video, but it's a video. Hold on, I don't know how to read. Did you get it? I'm sorry, you guys. I thought he was playing the video. I was oblivious to what was going on just now. Sorry. My bad. I just resent it again, I think. Oh, he's got it.
To my old boss, I used to hook up with in the parking lot across the street after work. You have a 2-year-old.
Who does that? Like, who does that? That video is forever going to be out there. Somebody's going to show that baby that video. Somebody's going to show that baby that video one day. And you ain't about to tell me that her feelings ain't about to be hurt by it, that she's not all in her fucking feelings about it. And I don't know. I'm going to look it up. I might, honorable mention next show. If you guys are curious, like what happened. Cause I haven't followed up. I haven't gone back to see if like he responded or acknowledged anything, or if they have all these, I'm sure, I don't have to tell y'all. That's insane. But anyway, it's been really bothersome to me. And I guess it always has. And I've really had conversations with myself repeatedly about why I'm so hard. In my head, I'm an advocate for men, and not really, I'm not saying I'm not an advocate for women. That's not how I feel, but I just feel like it's not our place to tell a man how to act. It's our place to become the type of woman that belongs to the type of man that we desire. Does that make sense? At all? Hopefully it does. But I feel like if you're interested in a certain type of man, regardless of who you are in that moment, if you're not the type of woman that type of man that you like, if you're not that type of woman that he's into, you need to become that woman. And I don't mean it as like a stage play either, people, okay? I mean like legit step the fuck up and become the woman that you know that type of man desires. Stop thinking that you are enough of a woman for him to choose you, because you're not, or he would have chosen you already. And we wouldn't be having these shows, and the men wouldn't be so hard on the women, and the women wouldn't be so hard on men. Become the woman. Stop saying you'll become it when he shows up. Stop saying you'll make it happen when he gets here. Stop creating generational curses. This woman is creating generational curses, literally. She's creating generational curses. She had a child and didn't even bother for 2 years to tell this man that he and her procreated and that this child exists. And all of the first things that he could potentially miss, he's missed, not out of his choice, but it was chosen for him. This shit is unbelievable to me, you guys. Like and of course I can't imagine, and what would be the excuse? I don't understand the excuse in keeping a child away from a father. And I've had these shows in many different formats. I've had these conversations in many different ways, but it boils down to that as well too. There's so many women out here screaming about their baby daddies. And I already believe that the women are at a place where they're choosing the type of men, and that they, that's something that they need to address for themselves, because I still feel that way. I haven't changed or altered my mind in reference to that. I still feel like women are choosing out of a place of pain and insecurity. And again, it's not necessarily about the men that you're attracting, but it's about the men that you're choosing. And that also you keep choosing, And again, I'm not speaking out of no place that's above or beyond anybody else. I've already been in that situation with my own self, where I had to address my own behaviors, and I had to address my own, who I was attracting, who I was choosing, who I was keeping in my life. I've already dealt with that shit. I've already, done the work for that. And I'm definitely at a place where I feel like I can say, like, this has been my experience. And there's some things that just ain't fucking okay. I used to have a mouth. It is not okay. It is not okay how I used to talk to people in general. But it is not okay the way that I used to. Now, I'm not talking about my immediate ex, but back in the day before him. It's not okay how, and there's been a couple times I could say it's not okay the way I talk to him too, to be honest with you. It's not okay. But prior to him, and just because he wouldn't tolerate it, but prior to him, the way that I talked to my first husband, outrageous. I mean, I apologized to him for my behavior later on, a few years after we split up, for the way that I spoke to him. And I don't particularly care for the brother, but I still felt the need to apologize to him, and that was shit 20 some years ago, like literally 25 years ago, probably, that I'm talking about. God, fuck, I'm old. Y'all wait, man. Y'all wait. One day you just, like, for real, like, I don't know if it's like maybe 30-ish, maybe 35, definitely 40. Time just speeds up. People have been saying that shit for years, but it's the fucking truth. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shit, just for me to say something happened 25 years ago, and and I wasn't a kid. I'm not saying, oh, it was 25 years ago. I was 5 or 6 or something. No, 25 years ago, I was a grown ass woman with kids and living a life. It was 25 years ago. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. We as women are so unbalanced. I don't understand how more of us don't see it. I don't understand how we're not grasping how we. I mean, I guess I do. I guess I do, because I know that the TV. I've said this repeatedly the last few shows that I saw somebody talking shit, like screaming and cursing out their boyfriend on TV. I guess it's the norm. And I was, women. I know women talk like that. But I don't know. It was just so shocking. And it still is. Like, I wouldn't want to be this big old age that I am, like my daughter says, this big old age you are at, this big old age you at, mama. At this big old age, I don't want to be in a position where I'm acting that way and behaving that way. Like, that's just not peaceful to me. Fuck everybody else. That's not a peaceful engagement. That's not peaceful energy. That's hostility. And I don't want to, I have no desire to live in any more hostility. I mean, literally zero. I have zero tolerance for unpeaceful people. Like, everybody subscribe, like, and share the shit out of the show, by the way. Please and thank you. And thanks for showing up to the show. I know I've been away for a while, like I said, but I'm back on track. So we'll definitely be back every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I haven't been on Podbean in a minute. I'm like in over a month, probably 2 months. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So I'm still revamping my life for the most part. So anyway, I invited some of my dads on, especially some dads that I know have had to kind of fight a little bit to be in their children's lives. Hoping that they could give some insight and, speak on their experience with women. I've run across, both. Obviously, I'm not saying that all men are perfect and that all women are bad. But I am specifically talking about the women that are doing stuff like this, that are creating these generational curses where they're having these whirlwind affairs with whoever, under whatever circumstances, creating children and then not telling them. And then when they do decide to tell them, instead of telling them privately, in a good setting, in a safe environment, they put up a video on TikTok and say, hey, oh, by the way, if this is you and you used to bang me in the parking lot across the street, we got a baby. Like, that shit is not okay. How is that? How are you not passing some type of absolutely horrific energy down to your child? How is your child not carrying that energy? What did they say? The sins of the mother and the father? Is that what they say? So she's not just keeping her child from the father. Again, we're talking about levels to this shit. I just did a TikTok video the other day called Levels. Anyway, I wrote something called Levels. Anyway, there's levels to this shit. It's not just a woman keeping her child from the father. Again, this was a miscegenated child. I don't know the mother's makeup or whatever, but I mean, there's just so many factors. This man did not get to see the birth of the child, or the child crawl or walk or learn or speak his, say daddy first or second, or learn any of these things. His parents didn't get to see any of these things or experience any of these things. And again, I'm not speaking for the dude. She could have told that dude in private 2 years when she was pregnant, and he say, and whatever. But that would have been his choice, and then it wouldn't have been this video still either, though, because he would know. But to not say anything and then to treat it as if it's okay, number one, for you to treat a man this way. Why would you treat a man this way when you're dealing with his seed? But what's up, Seven? Seven said I'm baby daddy number one. I mean, like, and how is he supposed to move past? Like, this man has a whole traumatic experience that he has to get through for the next, really the rest of this child's life. There is no 18-year-old, once he's 18, I don't have to deal with his daddy kind of thing. People say that, and I know that there's plenty of people that probably don't have to, maybe, or not, but there are, other things that happen, grandchildren and, accidents, or, birthdays when they're older and they're adults, they're invited, you know what I mean? Like you still have to, there's still interaction that has to be done. But you have created a trauma in your immediate circle of energy. You've created a trauma, and you posting it like it's a fucking joke. Like it's a joke that we're creating generational curses. So it's bad enough. Hear me out. I already know how some people are going to feel about this. And I really, you know how they keep drawing all these shots, fuck around and find out, and they do all this shit. Like, okay, the more you fuck around, and then the chart goes over and says, the more that you find out. My children already carry generational curses from two sides of their family. Everybody does. I get that. But the curses that they carry, they're breaking them, I'm breaking them, and we all are collectively creating generational blessings now. It is not easy. It's definitely on purpose. It's not a list. We just know that we're creating a different energy in our family for healing, period. We demand it. We have really hard conversations, and they don't always feel good. And that's just the reality of it. And, but this woman, not only does this child have the curses of both sides of her family, now she's created an additional curse to pass down. And you can call it whatever you want to. Okay. I have a thing about verbiage too. If you don't like my verbiage, that's fine. You can call it what you want, but, it's a generational curse. And the trauma that's involved. And so now all of this has to be processed by everybody in the midst of this man, if he were to, reach out and find out and all of those things, which it's not his responsibility to track this heifer down at this point. And I said what I said. Again, this is all based on the fact that he would be involved in her life. I mean, he may choose not to be. It's still a trauma on the child, nonetheless, the way she went about this. We're talking about energy. We're talking about actual energy. It would be a trauma on her for the father not to be in this child's life. And people are funny. It's not an excuse. It's not a reason. I don't think it's okay. But, most people would probably understand if he said, I'm not fucking with this chick on any level, no matter what. I'm not fucking with her. And I can't see being involved in that. Right. Like now look what she's done. You feel me? Like now look what she's done. And we be the first one. My baby daddy ain't this, and my baby daddy, and watching one of those guys that tells the tea. I wish I could think of his name because he's funny as fuck. I'll look him up in a minute, maybe. And he tells all the tea on TikTok. And he was, he's funny. I mean, he really is nosy. And I'm not going to lie, I do follow him. Because he does tell tea. And again, I'm not vested or whatever, but I've been learning, if you will, to use TikTok as content. And I mean, it is an outlet for me to do my poetry. If you don't follow me, go follow me. I got banned. So I created a new account. So I had to start over. So I can't go live yet or anything, but go follow me. I'm in love. It's still in love with Kimberly Michael, but the love is a heart, an actual red heart. In love with Kimberly Michael on TikTok. I'm sure Jay will track me down and put my link up. What's up, Natasha? Good to see you, love. Welcome. Welcome. So I feel like, again, not speaking to the baby daddies. I'm speaking to the women that are doing things like this, that are creating the baby daddies. There is, like I've said before, that this is it's not 100%. I'm not speaking of 100% of women. Not mean like every woman is in a different circumstance, but there are a lot of women that are in similar circumstances that do similar things. And of course, now that we have all this access to social media, when you really put it all together and see the amount of shows, that they're going back and putting up, like I don't know any of these shows, you guys. The actual name I have to think. Like Judge Judy, not Judge Judy. Anyway, those shows, maybe Judge Judy, I don't know, but those shows where the men are coming on and they're showing these men think that the babies are theirs. They're pretty sure, but there's an issue or whatever. I don't know. And they're devastated. They're devastated. Now, look, I hold them accountable as well, too. Like, why are you laying down raw with a woman like this? For real. Why are you doing that? And I say the same thing to the women. Why did you lay it? I don't want to hear cry, cry, why. You laid down with him. You laid down with him raw. You both chose to do it raw. There is a large percentage of a chance, if you're not on birth control and you do it raw, you're going to have a baby. So both of you are choosing it. But you doing some shit like this right here, doing some dirty shit and keeping a child from a man and then telling him via social media, and not even, and again, as a joke. What's up, unapologetic? You mean every woman is in a different position to get pregnant? I mean, sexual position. I'm sure that there literally has been a child born at this point in the world to every position that is and could be. That would just be my assumption, but I'm pretty sure that there's been a child born to every position, to everyone. So, but yeah, of course, everybody's in. Is it divorce court? I mean, I just see them on like TikTok, and I'll catch like the end and the guy will be crying and I'll be like, why? I want to know why he's crying because I'm nosy, I guess. I want to know. And then it ends up like the whole video is just man after man after man being told that he's not the father of a child and they're devastated, right? And I mean, that's on, ain't shit unapologetic. That's on women. Like there's no way around it. That's on a woman. I mean, I get that the man laid down and it's a risk and all that, and got to be accountable and got to be responsible. And I say he should be accountable and responsible. But if you're in that situation that you don't know, and the brothers that you're laying with don't know that you don't know or could potentially not know, that's on you. That part is solely on you, that you not keeping up with what you're doing like that. Like that's something else. So, and again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just, speaking. I know people. I was that person. I'm sure. Long time ago, fucking 30 years ago, maybe. No, less than that. More than that. More than that. 35 years ago, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I might have been in that situation, but and I had this conversation with somebody recently. Who did I have this conversation with? I had this conversation with somebody recently. So when I grew up, I was a teenager. I was a teenager. Hush. In the 80s, I was a teenager. Okay. So when I was a teenager in the 80s, the only thing that my parents talked to me about, and that other people's parents either talked to them about or put them on, was birth control. I did not grow up in an era where they talked about using condoms for safety. I did not grow up in that era. So I was in my 20s when HIV and AIDS and everything was becoming, it was being nationalized, televised, and all of that was going on with it. And so I was in my 20s. So that's why I say, like, I can see a woman being in this situation, but I'm not excusing the behavior. I'm not at all. Especially, mine was in my teenage years, I'm sure. And like early, not early, but definitely teenage years, 17, 18, 19, with that type of behavior or whatever. Some of these men and women are in their 30s and 40s. I've seen some of these men mess around with younger women, of course, but in their 60s and 70s. Let me read the I think I'm going to do a playoff from this on The Crown. You should. Absolutely. It should be talked about incessantly. Just saw a post this week where she doesn't know who the father of her child is. She narrowed it down to 4 men, and they all attended the baby shower. What's going on, Miss Caitlin? Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. They all attended the baby shower. She narrowed it down to 4. Yes, I do. I think women create deadbeat dads. I think I don't want to say deadbeat dads. Let me take that back. Let me be very clear when I say this. I'm not saying they create deadbeat dads. I'm saying they create baby daddies. I'm definitely saying that there are women who create baby daddies. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about deadbeat dads. I don't know if a woman can create. If you're a deadbeat dad, you're a deadbeat dad. But I think that women are putting themselves in positions and putting their children's fathers in positions that create baby daddies. Absolutely. So, but I don't know about deadbeat dads. Because like I said, this brother could have told him, she could have told him what she wanted to tell him. Tell him about this child 2 years ago, and he could have gave her the finger and told her to piss off and not be involved in that child's life. I don't know. That may have happened. That may have very well happened. It could have, definitely. They're not really deadbeat, but women's actions force men to look like deadbeat. I definitely agree. This is definitely what this show is about tonight, is that there is a lot of women that are doing shit just like this chick did. Jay played the video earlier. He could probably put the link in there too if y'all want to watch it. But it was just a chick, and she put up, a video and said, "Hey, if you're my manager, me and you used to do it in the parking lot across the street. You got a 2-year-old daughter." Like, who does that? Like, as if it was funny. And the amount of women in her box that were like, the amount of people that were in her inbox that were oblivious to the fact of the matter, like it was funny, or like everybody was kiki and haha. And she's posting this picture of her kid, she's posting the picture of the dad. And those things, that shit stays. There will be people who wait and follow this little girl. And maybe I'm being excessive, but I don't think so. They'll wait and they'll follow them, reporters and all kinds of people. And I'm not saying this particular girl, but I'm just saying in general, people definitely do shit like this, just to find out where she's, and to expose people are evil and they're mean. And all that, again, that this man has to get over if he did choose to be in this daughter's life, and all that they would have to get over as a family, energetically, spiritually. Like, she created that. Like, she could never sit in front of me and I'd want to mollywop her ass. And it's bad enough that we as women don't take accountability for our behavior, and we don't, that we have the behaviors that we have, that we speak the way that we speak, that we talk to men the way that we talk to them. But for us to now not only just let's take those behaviors and have those behaviors, now to start creating generational curses and generationally, spiritually, emotionally creating this type of energy to be passed down. It's not fucking okay. But, she'll be the first one to scream about her baby daddy or somebody else baby daddy not doing right or doing this or doing that or whatever be the case. And I say all the time, I can't speak for men. I can't speak for their behaviors. I can't speak to what they do. I can't tell them what to do, how to behave, who to be, or what to become. But I can speak to women about women. And for the women that I'm speaking to that are capable of standing in this space with us today, because I can assure you I'm not the only woman that's up here or that feels this way. You need to really fucking check yourself. You need to really check yourself. You need to check your behavior. You need to think about what you're doing. You need to be concerned with the generations that follow you, with your seeds, with who your seeds are, with who they come from. You need to start being responsible and accountable for your own freaking behavior. Start living your life on purpose. Stop behaving this way and thinking it's okay because 5 people on the internet said it was so. It's not. The loud mouth and all that shit, the women that are on TV that are getting paid for it are on display. Oh, let me find, I keep her in my phone because I always seem, it's terrible of me. I hate to say that, but when I try to recall this woman's name, it always seems like I'm being honest that I forget her name until I look it up and then I remember her. But I always wanted to do a show on her. And I am kind of switching what I'm about to say up a little bit, but y'all know how this goes. It's kind of the same theory that we as women sexualize our own selves. We sexualize ourselves, put ourselves out there, and then are mad. It's twofold. We want a man to be a man. We put ourselves out there and sexualize our own self, and then we're mad when a man shows up as a man and approaches us sexually or insinuates things to us sexually or whatever he does, right? I'm not talking about people that cross the line either. Let's be clear. Okay. But, and this is the same theory, if you will, like you're pissing and moaning and carrying on about, baby daddies and the state of affairs with men and women. And then women do shit like this to good men. And again, I don't know if he's a good man or not, but let me read the notes. Let me read the chat room. There are evil people in the world and they are unashamed. Bringing kids into their chaos is additionally sickening. It is. I live a totally different life the others, but I agree. Baby mamas create deadbeat dads or the perspective of a deadbeat dad. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I watched this video one time. I did watch this video. It was in length. And it was a guy, he was like ex-military. He had a baby mama who was literally legitimately, based on all that was in the video and what they were showing and what was going down, an absolute nightmare. Like, when I say the epitome of making a man's life miserable, this woman was making this man's life absolutely, positively, 100% miserable. She had called the police on him, taken him to court for child support. She took him to court for, like, it wasn't this, but I'm saying it was something as simple as like cough medicine, something like that, right? Things like that. But we do these things and we create this, and now generationally, we've got, it used to be the generations were staggered a little. Now our generations are right on top of each other. I mean, you can barely decipher between, one generation and the next. There's so, I saw two different TikTok families, grandma, mom, and daughter. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know if I might have been able to pick out the daughter, the baby, but not I'm still looking for, pisses me off. And I know I can look it up online too. No, I'm just going to have to look it up online. But this goes to that, the sexualizing of women and stuff. And this is what I'm saying. So back in the day, I'm so disappointed in myself sometimes because this woman is important. Who she was important, and who she was mattered. And I know I can't remember everybody or everything, but this is just one of those stories and one of the things that I learned in my history that really made me feel some type of way, like legitimately made me feel some type of way. And I hate that I lose track of her name. That's just the way I'll say it, that I lose track of her name. And I don't know if any of you know who she is or have ever heard of her. I'm just going to look her up now. Like, I'm just wasting time. Let me see if oh no, that's not her. I don't know. I can't find it. If I find it, we're going to talk about it. But I don't want to say the story about who she is. I don't want to tell her story. Oh, I found her. Her name is Sarah Bartman. Her name is Sarah Bartman. And let me look her up now. Because I screenshotted it. I don't know if y'all ever heard of her or not, but I'm going to tell you who she is. So, her story is regarded as, this is the words they use, it's regarded as the racist colonial exploitation, the epitome of it, the epitome of it. And for those of you who don't know who she was, she lived back in the 19th century in Europe. And she was born in 1789 and she died in 1850. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that she died. I'm not going to say something that's wrong. So I'll find it, whatever. But anyway, when they say exploited, she had the way that she was shaped, her ass and her breast and her hips and her thighs. She had an extremely large butt, and she was literally put on display in Europe so that men could look at her and her body. And she, keep in mind, she was her body, like the pictures of her body, like you can look her up. But, and I'm just reading some of the stuff off there that was like, to me, so horrendous. She was 22 years old and only 4 feet 10 inches high. And she was brutalized and sexualized by these men. And she was 26 years old. She died. They think she might have died of smallpox, but it could have been syphilis or pneumonia. Now, mind you, she was sexually assaulted, and God knows what all happened to this woman, and I'm not taking away from any of that. But my point is that what was or what should be demonized and not, we shouldn't be sexualizing each other. I speak on this all the time. When a man says something to me about what I got on or whatever, I'm like, it's you sexualizing me. I'm not sexualizing myself. I wear what I wear because I have a fashion sense about me, and I specifically pick the clothes that I pick. And I like the way that my body looks. I like the way that I move. I like the way that I look in clothes and jeans and tight clothes. And that has nothing to do with anybody else. Nothing to do with anybody else at all. But the things that we now are creating as women, again, mad at men for sexualizing us and treating us sexually, yet we say we want this big masculine man. And part of who a man is that they're very sexual creatures. They're very sensual. They're very erotic. Most men as an energy. I'm just saying. But we don't want them to be that way. Every pose we have is, from the back, with our, butts pooching out. And listen, by all means, I take a picture from the side every once in a while. I definitely do. Or occasionally, the other day I did around Christmas time, I went to a Christmas party and I absolutely, because of my sweater, took a picture from the back. It was not my fault that my ass was looking marvelous and that it was from the back. It was really about the whole, the outfit for me, and somebody actually said something to me, somebody said something to me about me having my ass out, my jeans, because my sweater was short. I was like, whatever, like I'm going out in public. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? But my point is that I don't put out the energy that I'm sexualizing myself. I don't think, I could be wrong. Men could look at me and think, oh, she want to get it on. I can tell by looking at her. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't think I put out that energy. But if we're putting out, what we're putting out, we're going to get back. And then we can't really be upset about that. So if you're putting out an energy where you're keeping a child from a man, I know I'm swapping back and forth, but it's relevant. It's an energy that we're all in. We're all in this same energy where we're doing this, where we're saying, I'm projecting this and then mad at you for projecting it back onto me. Upset that you're, doing this. I'm telling you, I want you to be this type of man instead of me being patient and preparing myself to be the type of woman, again, that attracts that type of man. We as women have got so many things that we need to rectify. We need to really quit thinking about what the hell these men are doing. Let them figure it out for themselves. I promise you they will. You know why? Because they're men and they're logical and they can think logically. And if they see a bunch of women getting healed and doing actual work and changing actual behaviors, then guess what? They're going to get in line because they're competitive. They ain't going to let us get away with that shit. All right, hold on, let me read. Let me tell it. Natasha, the lady they put in the circus. I recollect the story. There's a movie about her. Kim, why can't women tell the truth? The first response. Elaborate. What you mean? Kim, why can't women tell the truth? The first response. What you mean the first response? Why can't women tell the truth? What's my first response why women can't tell the truth? Because women don't tell the truth of themselves. Women don't tell the truth of themselves. Women lie to themselves. Women lie to themselves. They lie to their friends. You know why? You know why? No. Okay. My bad. What? No. Um, Kim, why can't women tell the truth? Okay. The first response. Oh, I'm waiting for Jay. My bad, y'all. I'm waiting for Jay to fill me in. You're right. They lie to themselves. No, they do. They really do. They lie to themselves. Their friends lie to them for them. You know, me and Gilly are friends because we get shitty with each other. Like, oh, that's what you're doing? You know, like we tell each other about each other's selves. For real. Publicly and privately. I mean, we handle it as best we can, but I'm saying like, then they lie to the man. Of course they lie to the man. Of course they lie to the man. They lie to everybody. They lie to their friends. They lie to their family. They lie to their mama. They lie to whoever's, really listening. I don't even know I don't even know anymore if we're just so used to telling. So have y'all seen the movie? Probably not, but I recommend you watch it. If you can, even if it's not for you, I'm just saying, it's called The Big Fish. Have y'all seen that? Why can't women be honest and real? You know what, Jay? Again, because they're not honest and real with themselves. They cannot be honest and real with themselves because they would rather absolutely 100% stay in their brokenness. I can't answer why. But I don't know why so many women are so fake. I don't know why women are. I don't know that I've ever been. Maybe I'm not saying it never happened, but I'm saying as an energy. I don't know. I've always been just like real raw. Like y'all can probably imagine. I mean, this was me at 7. I was really like out there asking questions and shit that, but I was sensitive as fuck and I was always crying. And I'm sure it was to get attention because my parents didn't pay me no attention. My parents didn't pay me no mind at all. Never. I mean, I was the only child too. My parents didn't pay me no attention. They did their own thing. And I was by myself. I just asked a woman sitting next to me a question. I knew the truth too. And she lied right away. I just broke it down and she was like, yeah, I lied. Shake my motherfucking head. Listen, this is me. This is what I say. I say this all the time, especially when I was dating. I am. Anyway, it's irrelevant. I'm not even gonna say that right now because I don't know what I'm doing. But when I'm dating, if you don't want to know the answer, if you're not ready or prepared to handle the truth about an answer, don't ask me no questions. But that's just me. Because I feel like this. I don't need a man to validate me. I don't need a man to tell me my worth. I don't need a man to tell me who I am or how to be or to obligate me in any way. I need a spiritual leader, a spiritual provider, a spiritual protector. I need him. I need him healed and I need him evolved. Right? The question is, can men really trust women? I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm just being fucking honest. I wouldn't trust most women. I mean, men don't trust me, and I'm going to be honest with you. I can't be any more open and honest and raw with men than I am. Most people think I tell men too much, but I'm very open about it. So I'm going to be honest with you. As a woman and who I am, I don't understand that shit. But you asking the wrong woman because I don't trust women at my level. I didn't. We all know this. I did not grow up with with healed, wise women in my family, any of them. Even the women that I loved the most, like I had an aunt that I loved, two of them. One was married in, and one was my dad's actual sister. She passed away. She was the first sibling in that generation to pass away. I love those two women with all my heart. When I tell you they were fucked up, both of them have passed. Both of them have passed. And they were the first, actually, those two women. That's odd. That's wow, that's interesting to me. I'm going to write that down. Both of the women have passed away, have since passed away. And I love them. They were real and raw and honest to me. And they would speak truth to me, but they weren't completely evolved. And then by the time I was old enough for them to give me any kind of knowledge, they were gone, like alcohol, drugs, illness, mental illness, just gone. And they didn't have the ability to give it to me. What's going on at 7? What's the wrong women? They all lie. So we all know they don't all lie. They don't all lie. However, it is, for me, too, very challenging to find a woman that tells the truth most of the time. And I'm just being honest. For me, it is. This is why I don't have a lot of women friends. Most of my friends are men. Almost all of my friends are men, actually. The women friends that I have, and I've said this before, have been my friends my entire life. They've been my friends since, like literally 30 years or more. So, but Jay, I don't know why women lie. Again, if you're going to ask me a question, now listen, I might not tell you something, but if you ask me, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth about it. I wouldn't necessarily tell you something. Like I said, it just depends on the situation. But for the most part, if I don't tell you something, but you ask me, I'll tell you. I got into a fucked up situation with my ex about that, to be honest with you. I can't even tell you the story. I can't tell you the story, but he never asked me about something, and I never told him. Plus, I had a pact with somebody too about it. And so I never said anything, and we were probably together 10, 11 years, 12 years maybe. And he straight up looked me in my face and asked me. So I told him the truth. And he punched me in my shit. But anyway, it's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, like, I think everybody lies. I think not everybody, but I think everybody. I think most people lie. I don't think it's just a woman thing or a man thing. I think men lie. I think women lie. And I think that, again, it's just, we're so unbalanced. Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody acts like it's not a big deal. Like nobody cares that the state of relationships is like this. I mean, maybe all of this is, I hate to say it this way because I sound so like conspiracy theorist, but maybe it's a whole fucking plot to keep us from procreating. Like we're going to stop fucking around with each other altogether. I'm not saying that we're, gonna choose our same sex or anything. I'm just saying we're just gonna quit fucking with each other, for procreation purposes, period. Maybe they want it like that so we can eventually, we won't even be concerned about it when they start separating us out and doing all. I mean, who fuck knows? Honest to God, who even knows what is going on? But I don't know how. I don't get how cyclical it is, and that we don't have conversations about the nature of it. Like women keep dogging men keep dogging women keep talking about the men dogging them, men keep talking talking about the women that dog them, and then how much they hate. Women talk about how much they hate men, but they're raising a man. Women talking about how much they, you know what I mean? Like, make it all make sense to me. Like, how can you not just stop for like a minute or two and look at that and rationalize what is happening? We as women are nurturers, and because we are walking in our masculine energy, no one is getting nurtured. What happens to a child or to anyone who's not nurtured? Let's look it up. Can we look at, you think it's a thing? What? Because we ain't, again, the women who are like me, who think the way I do, I'm not talking about women who don't want to believe like me. You ain't got to. I'm talking about general energy of women that is feminine. Okay? The general energy of women, which is feminine, and the general energy of men, which is masculine, and the two that want to coincide and exist in that entity. That is who I'm speaking to. I'm not speaking to everybody else. Neglected, nurturing, they struggle to form deep and lasting relationships. So the majority of us are already there. The majority of us, men and women, struggle to find deep and lasting relationships. There's so many facts on what you just said, Kim. I agree. Women don't trust men, but are willing to take the father out of the home and raise a young man. Right. And then they're raising a young man, right, in an environment where they don't understand manifesting. And so they are speaking about a man that has the same DNA as their father. So when she's projecting, listen, y'all can think whatever you want to, but when she's projecting with her words, she's moving, she's speaking to that child's DNA, which means that energetically she's moving through his DNA with her words. And she is speaking about his father. How do you raise a good man when every word out of your mouth is dogging a man? How do you do that? How do you shield? You cannot. And then the cycle comes in. Now you have a mother who has a son who's abusive, or he's this or he's that. And to her, now it's the woman's fault. Why does the mamas always think it's the woman's fault? Because the mama was usually that woman. Because 9 times out of 10, I mean, there's so many. Again, did I mention how many levels there are to this shit? This is not just about a woman keeping her child from a man. There are so many things going on, and we are all missing it. We're missing it. And we, not only are we missing it, we're missing love. We don't get to be in love. We don't get to be nurtured. We don't get to be who we are authentically in front of a person. We're missing it. Do y'all fucking get that? That we are missing love. We're missing all of it. All of the beautiful and great things about love we're missing because we're broken and bitter and hostile, and we're listening to all these false narratives, and we're claiming all these titles that we don't live up to. So our integrity isn't at 100%, and therefore we're just fucked with. And again, I cannot speak for the men and what they're doing or how they can heal, but I can speak for the women. You know, like some days I just want to go, are you fucking serious? I want to reach out. I want to say, oh, I'm telling you, since TikTok, I don't know that I've ever wanted to say stuff to so many people in my life. I want so bad to go in on some of these women. Like, I really want to be like, are you fucking, like, how do you even, I really wanted to say something to this woman about this man, y'all. I really wanted to say, like, what are you doing? This is not funny. Like, this is not okay. This is not a joke. They're raising young men to young women. They're raising men to be young women. You know, Jay, that's a whole nother show that I am not afraid to have. I just want you to know that, because I absolutely believe in the emasculation of the Black man. And that is by no way passing judgment on any community that exists. That's just that you ain't going to tell me there's not an agenda. You are not going to tell me that there is not an agenda. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't exist outside of the norm, or now not norm, whatever. What society has always considered to be norm, that people are now outside of that. And I get that, and that's cool, and that's fine, and that's great. But again, that doesn't mean that there's not an agenda. Just like everything else, you know. I'm sure that everybody gets this, but when I bring up racial issues, or I get in a conversation with somebody, and I'm gonna be honest, white or black, there's always a handful of people that say to me, when slavery is brought up, or there's a conversation had about slavery or whatever, there's always a handful of people that say to me that, do I know who sold the slaves into the slave trade? And I always say, yes, I do. I do know who sold the slaves into the slave trade. I'm aware. Does that lessen the effect of slavery? Does it lessen the murders and the torture and the? No, it does not. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. And this is the same situation. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't lessen it just because people don't believe that there is that agenda. There is that agenda. I believe that there is that agenda. And the fact that there are so many people pushing this agenda on children who are not in a situation of age where they have developed properly, and whether they have an understanding or something or not is, you know, and I'm sure that I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. My daughter and my youngest son both came to me when they were in elementary school, not at the same time, two different instances under two different circumstances. And both of them told me they thought they were gay. And I had conversations with them, and I asked them if they, you know, I explained as much as I could. We looked up some stuff on the internet because we could then, and it was fairly new when my kids were not fairly new, but fairly new. Honestly, my kids were about that age, and we looked some things up, and we had some conversations. And you know, I said, if you decide when you're older and you're of age that this is still how you feel, I'm never going to not choose you. My children know that, and that's fine. Address it at that time. For you to take a 6-year-old and a 6-year-old to say whatever, again, that narrative's all over the internet. It's all over social media. It's all over the television. That narrative is. I mean, they will barely put an interracial couple on television, on a commercial. But that narrative is everywhere. You can see it every single place that you go. Everywhere. There's no way to not see it. So, of course, certain kids are going to see certain things, and then certain people are going to, depending on, just like with my children, with anybody's kids, they're going to see what you deem as reasonable and necessary for them to see. So, you know, a couple that they're just going to see different things. Let me just say it like that, because I don't want to, hold on, you guys. I don't want to say it. I don't want to be politically incorrect, because I'm not judging nobody. I'm not. They're raising young. Oh, you already said that. Oh, yeah. No, I believe that that's a lot going on. So Jay, I would love to have, I'm more than happy to have a show literally just on the emasculation of black men. I have no problem. Now mine is just going to be my opinion, of course, because, but, and how I feel about it. But I remember the first time I saw somebody in something like on an advertisement or something in a dress. I don't know if he wore the dress. I don't know. I have to look it up and see what it was. It was a few years ago, but I remember it was really kind of the first time. I mean, other than like, is it RuPaul that does the drag queen stuff? Like other than that, right? Like other than that, I don't know. Is that normal to y'all and y'all's like drag is kind of normal. It's kind of a normality for us. Maybe that's how it started. Maybe they start this shit generationally. Drag ended up being a very normal thing. Like men were saying that they were straight but would still do drag. I don't know. I didn't, but I'm just saying like drag was an art form, or presented as an art form back in the day. And I feel like it kind of is now to some degree, but I'm not up on it. I don't watch the show or anything like that, obviously. And so I can't really speak on it, but I know that it was like when I was in my late teens and early 20s, like there was a lot of drag shows around. They were like extravagant. Like there was a hotel in Orlando. I'll never forget this shit on OBT or Edgewater. I don't remember. I feel like it was Edgewater, but it could have been OBT. It doesn't matter. But it was a hotel, and I don't know, every weekend anyway, there would be this humongous, like absolutely outraged cars packed all over the streets and everything else. And sorry, my daughter's texting me. And they would have these huge drag shows. People would come from everywhere and have these huge drag shows. And it was, it was a normal thing. It was normalized, basically. I feel like eventually, I don't remember it being like quiet or a big, a big to do or whatever. And so maybe that's, what happened. But Jay, there's so much going on. There's so many levels to the shit that we're engaged with in right now with the generational masculine energy on women. Us women collectively as a whole are now unbalanced in our feminine energy. Not necessarily individually, but collectively we're imbalanced. We have more masculine energy as a whole than we do feminine. And I'm wondering if men aren't there too, where the men have more feminine energy than they have masculine. I don't, honestly, me personally, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. I think the women are unbalanced. I don't think the men are unbalanced yet, but it's definitely looking like it could go that way if something doesn't change. And with that being said, like, again, I can't speak on this dude. I didn't follow up with this video. I'm going to though. I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to find out. I'm going to at least say something about it. But while I'm going to pause for 2 seconds. I want you guys to subscribe, hit the like button, even if no matter what, just hit the like button, please, and share the shit out of the show. Normally Jay puts a little thing up, but subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share, please. And thank you. We appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all showing up. I wish I could see who all was on here. I never can. I don't know why. I'm always trying. I'm always looking to see if I can figure out what's going on and how it's happening. But anyway, I was hoping Seven would come up here and maybe Soul as well too would chime in. But he's always late arrival. He likes to come in. What do they call it? Make an entrance. He always likes to make an entrance. So anyway, yes, let's go back to what we were, the conversation that we were having though originally. And poor Jay. Hopefully Jay's paying attention. Like hopefully whatever chick he was talking to next day, which did y'all peep that or was that just me? Like, did y'all peep what happened there just then? Because that was some shit right there for real. 7, are you still here too? As Jay said, I had this lady right next to me. This woman right here. That shit is crazy to me. Oh, anyway, I wanted to go back to tell y'all about the nurturing stuff. Can we go back to talk about that right quick? So it says that when you're not nurtured, that you struggle to form deep and lasting relationships. That people that lack nurturing tend to be violent and have a lot of substance abuse. They lack empathy and struggle to integrate into society. I don't know about y'all, but that sounds like just about 90% of the people that I know. No? Because it sounds like 90% of the people that I know. Honest to God, it does. That legit sounds like a fuck ton of people that I know that don't have deep, lasting relationships. They're violent, or they have. I don't want to say substance abuse, but I mean substance abuse. It says that empathy, no empathy. Y'all don't know people like this. People that really don't really fit in, or it says right here that lack nurturing. So if we as women aren't nurturing and doing what we do as a whole, as a woman, and our energy, we're not circulating, nurturing energy, then this is what is being created in our environments. Because nurturing isn't a mama thing, it's a woman thing. So a woman can still, men, I don't need a mama, I got one. Okay, I'm not trying to be your mama, but I still have a nurturing nature because it's who I am. I'm a woman. Stop confusing nurturing with mama and girl. That nurturing is feminine. It's a feminine quality. Don't tell me that men aren't. I know men can nurture. I get that. I understand. But a woman nurturing is a woman nurturing. It doesn't matter if it's a man, if it's a mama or a girlfriend. Thank you, Jordy. It doesn't matter if it's a mama or a girlfriend. Nurturing is a feminine quality. It's not relatable to a title. So, oh, my mama, you act like my mama. No, I'm acting like a woman. Yes, sir.
Feminine energy.
Feminine energy. Yes, absolutely.
Not feminine quality, is it?
Feminine energy. Feminine energy. My son said feminine quality and feminine energy are different. And they are. And I agree. And he's so smart. But it's a feminine, it's part of the feminine energy. It's not a mama, a girlfriend. It doesn't have to have some title on it, other than that's just where it moves. That's where it resonates. That's where it lives. Nurturing lives in feminine energy. And if we're not in our feminine energy as a whole, then we're not nurturing our masculine energy as a whole. Then of course we're all fucked. Of course we're all in this position where all this crazy shit is happening. And we're not in these relationships, and we're struggling to be in relationships, and we're struggling to maintain relationships, and everybody's lying to everybody, and everybody's having babies and not telling people. And when they do tell them, they're telling them on TikTok as if it's a fucking world affair, and that people deserve this type. Like, what did this man do that he deserved to not know that he had a child, not know that she's been walking on this earth, and to find out via TikTok? That's what I want to know. Y'all want to look up right now? Do y'all want to look up right now? Because I'm going to tell you what I want. I want something sweet. But let me go to, I'm going to distract myself. Oh, and then, Jay, are you, I don't know if Jay's still here. Hopefully he is. Because if he left me, I'd be screwed. Jay, I just resent you another video. This is the chick What's going on, Tiff? Hey, baby girl. Hi. I am improving. I'm improving. How are you? You good? You all right? Y'all go follow her. I love her. I really do. Um, Jay, I just sent you a. No, I'm glad you're here. It's good to see your name pop up. She follows me on TikTok and now she follows me everywhere. And I'm not mad about it. She's so sweet. I love her. I'm good hanging in there. Thanks for asking. Oh, see? And she's young, her and her significant other, and they are dope, very, 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 very intelligent. Both of them, very evolved, ask a lot of questions. They're 25. And they want to know, like they have every desire to be the best versions of themselves at 25. And it's important. See, how do we step up? If we as women aren't in our feminine energy and nurturing, how do we step up and nurture them? How do we help them? How do we guide them? How do we give them what they need at 25 so they're not up here at 50 having these types of conversation with their generation? How do we do that if we're not moving in the energy that was intended for us to move in? How are we doing that? How are we doing it? And thank you. I love how you speak so highly of us. Oh, they're 26 now. You had birthdays. Oh, they're growing up, you guys. They're 26 now. So their brains are fully developed plus a year. It's exciting. So happy belated, because obviously I missed everybody's birthday. So happy belated. But we should speak highly of you. We should speak, absolutely. All of us should speak highly of each other. I mean, of deserving or otherwise, I guess, because some people will say to me, like, you shouldn't speak to some people don't deserve. I don't know. I mean, if nobody ever does it and they never experience it, then how do they know? Right? Like, I feel like, with her saying it, I could be wrong if I am, I digress, but there'll be maybe other adults that speak to them and they're not kind to them and they're condescending, and it'll be relatable to them. And they'll be like, you know what, Miss Kim, she could talk to me and even challenge me and still be kind to me and lift us up and encourage us, whatever. So, they have to have something to go on, because, from what I see and what I've been running across and what I've been looking at, we're in shambles. Like, we're in fucking shambles. Our relationships and all of that shit, we're in shambles. I think Jay, I don't know if he got the video or not. Let me see if he got the video that I resent him the other video. Anyway, I did track down the woman. In the first video, Jay, I know y'all all weren't on here, but Jay showed the first video of the guy. And then I tracked down that woman that put up the original video, because of course I saw it on something else. I tracked down the woman that put up the original video, and she's on another video. Okay, Jay, I know that this is just like dead ass wrong, but let me see if it pops up.
Okay, so you guys are probably thinking, like, why would you meet him after work and not, like, go to one of the houses? Which I don't know why. Like, I didn't think about that at first. Like, why wouldn't we just, like, go back to his house or something? Should have been my first.
I can't listen to her voice. She's the chick from the video earlier of the gentleman that said, hey, if you're my old manager and we used to bang in the parking lot across the street, I got a 2-year-old daughter. Putting that shit everywhere on TikTok. So obviously her account's still there. So I will be stalking her later on this evening. When I get off here, I will definitely be stalking her ass and see what has come of this. Oh, there's Jay. He came back. Hi, Jay. Here we go. Well, I mean, this is just, I just grabbed a video of her, but listen to her talking about it.
Okay, so you guys are probably thinking like, why would you meet him after work and not like go to one of the houses? Which I don't know why. Like I didn't think about that at first. Like, why wouldn't we just like go back to his house or something? Should have been my first red flag, but yeah. So we like continued to like, hook up and talk, and like I started to go to his house like quite often, like at least 2 or 3 times a week. Like I was staying over there. Literally like we would wake up, get ready, and he would have to be like at work earlier than I would. So like I would just stay at his place and get ready, and we'd be like, "Oh, hey, like good morning, nice to see you." Even though like I just crawled out of his bed. So like, yeah. So things like started getting like serious. Like I fell for him quick. Um I graduated. I got a different job because I didn't at that point like we were into it. Like I met his mom, like he met my parents, like so I was like someone's going to find out. Like how do you keep that a secret and like not like he would like come down the aisles and like smack my butt and stuff. So like and like little drama would happen at work, and I'm like how does like no one see like us arguing? Like it's like mind blowing, but like I don't know, maybe people were dumb, obviously. But so some time had passed, and his like ex showed up at work, and my friend was like, "Yo, like his ex girlfriend like just came here, like they acted like just fine, all buddy buddy," and I was like, "What? Like no, like we've been hooking up for months." So like of course I like confronted him about it, and he was like, "No, no, like we're broke up," like made up an excuse. So like of course I believed him. Um and then I just like had a gut feeling like something was off. So I just like friend requested her on social media, and she ignored me for a while. And then she like finally accepted it and saw that I had a picture posted of us. And yeah, I'm to find out they were still together.
I mean, I just don't even have any words for this bitch. And I said it. I said that. That's what I said because I what she's literally airing out both of their business and keeping a child from him. She's airing out their business. She's keeping a child from him. I mean, she's wreaking havoc on this man's reputation. I don't know if he's addressed this stuff or if he's going to. It doesn't sound to me like they were in a necessarily, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I never heard her say they were supposed to be in a committed relationship, that they had a conversation that they were in a committed relationship. And look what she's created now. Maybe I'm wrong because of the way I move. So if I am, you guys in the comments, men and women, if I'm wrong, then fucking tell me. But if oh, okay. If you are sleeping with a man in the car across the street from the job during lunch, and you're hiding, it sounded that way, that she was hiding the relationship, like she didn't know how people couldn't see. How could they hide that he was smacking her on her ass and stuff like that? Like, so either she knew or she didn't know, but it sounds like she knew there was something was hidden. There was some type of hidden agenda with all this. And so if that's the case, They're not in a committed relationship. They're sneaking around doing shit. I mean, I'm confused because she said it was a red flag because they were having sex in his car, but then she said that she'd be at his house and she'd stay there once he went to work and she'd finish getting ready and she'd go too. But again, doesn't sound like they lived together. Didn't hear anything about them supposed to be in a committed relationship. The whole time she was explaining the story, she's explaining the story as if they are running around behind somebody's back somewhere and doing, God knows what. Yeah, it's given sneaky. I agree. Absolutely. So you're involved in this behavior. You're aware that there's something happening. Something is not right with all of this. You get pregnant and then you disappear. You don't tell him anything, and now you're let me calm down. First of all, I can't even tolerate her voice. I cannot even. And she's on here brushing her hair and talking about this shit like it literally isn't anything. And if she would have said like even one more time, I never imagined. I saw the first part of that video, but I thought maybe she was nervous or something, the way she was acting. And so I didn't watch the whole video. And to know that she really actually talks like that at that big old age that I don't know what age she is. Maybe she's younger than she looks, but I feel like, I feel like she looks like she's in her late 20s, maybe early 30s. I could be wrong, but that's what she looks like. And acting like that. Or he was somebody that's off limits that she wasn't supposed to be messing with. Yeah. And but now here she is on TikTok blasting him, exposing their relationship, which, listen, is a private relationship. I can't see this either. However, I can't see this either. However, if you were in a relationship with someone, in a committed relationship, and he dogged you out and cheated on you and was messing around with a bunch of women and blah, 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 and so on and so forth, I can understand you wanting to blast him. But if you are sneaking around with someone, you know that you're sneaking around with someone, you end up pregnant, you create a baby daddy by keeping the pregnancy from him, keeping the child from him. He isn't even aware that this little beautiful girl exists. I need somebody to make it make sense to me. I need somebody to make it make sense to me. Why are you now on social media dogging this dude? And acting like he did something. Or is she? Is she just telling her story? Because I feel like it's just so towards this dude. And again, I don't know what this dude would have said 2 years ago. Neither does she, to be honest with you. We have no idea what this dude would have said 2 years ago if she would have told him that she was pregnant in the midst of all this. But it sounds like she started a bunch of chaos and confusion. She already knew that there was some sneaking around going on. If the ex-girlfriend showed up, then she showed up. Why? Again, can we check off all the shit that she's doing? So instead of checking the dude, she's checking the chick. Instead of checking the dude, instead of checking herself, she's checking the dude. Instead of taking accountability, she's blaming the relationship that they were hiding from, or the relationship that she was hiding with him. It's completely convoluted. And now there's a 2-year-old baby involved who's gonna possibly find out that her daddy found her on TikTok. Or it's for clout. It very well could be. This whole thing could be made up. She put this man's face on there too. And I'm going to be honest with you. I usually go through, when I hear these stories, I usually go through the pages. I usually go through their page and go through, because I saw this one story. I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I legitimately went all the way through their page. I had to look at 4 or 5 videos before I could realize if they were really truly this fucking dysfunctional and toxic, or it was a joke. It was a joke. They would do funny stuff. But I guess it was funny. I didn't find it amusing. I wouldn't have. I guess it's just for views, because he got her Valentine's Day and she didn't like what he got her. She told him that he was slacking and he didn't spend enough money, and that it was cheesy what he got her. And she was like, there's no money in anything. There's no money in the envelopes. There's no money in the gifts. I mean, there was like balloons and flowers and candy and cards and lights and shit and all set up and everything. And she was like, this is bullshit. Like, what is this? And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, are women really, women really this ungrateful? But I have seen videos of like men buying women houses and them not liking the house and being completely ungrateful about it. And then try to throw in, the down payment money. And one dude like blasted the chick. He was like, you literally put in $1,500. I put in over 10,000. Like, what are you talking about? You want your little funky pissy ass $1,500 back? But I mean, how do you cohabitate with someone after that? How do you cohabitate with someone under those circumstances? How is this? Let's just go back to how is this man? I don't know what this man's going to do. I'm going to follow the story. I'm just going to be honest, because I'm in it. I want to know like what's going to happen. I don't know if we'll find out. I don't know if he'll put a stop to all the like social media stuff or whatever, or if I don't know if he can, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if he will. She's probably not going to do it because, well, let's just look. Let me pull this back up and see like how many people saw her video. I mean, I'm not helping because I keep clicking on the fucking video and watching it, so I keep giving her views.
But yeah.
Oh no, she still only has
Okay.
This is one of those things I just found. I'm so mad at myself right now. She ain't all over the internet. But that's not the point. Oh, and she is 31. I was right, you guys. She's 31 and relatable. That's what she says. She's 31 and relatable. And so she is putting on. But anyway, I'm still going to follow and find out what happens with this guy and with her. But I'm going to be honest, and this is just me. I'm siding with the guy already. I'm siding with him already. And that's just the way I feel about it. If I'm wrong and I find out otherwise, I'll let you know, but I'm siding with the guy. I feel like everything she's doing is wrong. I feel like she's creating generational curses. I feel like she's just completely, disrespect is not even a word I would put in this. I mean, like, it is a devastating thing, I think, or potentially could be, because again, I don't know this dude, but potentially could be very devastating. It's definitely traumatic. And energetically, she's pushing something onto her child that her child does not need to carry. And it is just some unnecessary shit. And I don't understand being in this position. I don't understand doing things this way. I don't understand blasting your child across the internet and for the sake of whatever it is the sake for, whether it's clout or to expose or whatever, because I feel like she was involved in this shit. Like, to me, I'm not saying 100% because obviously there's a second party involved, but this is her. This is on her. This behavior, her keeping the child, keeping it a secret, not letting him know that she existed, that sort of thing, not letting his family know. This is the type of shit that women are doing that are creating baby daddies. Lying about being on birth control, you creating a baby daddy. Like, at what point have we not learned that a baby will not keep a family together? I mean, where did we go wrong that we have not instructed the next 6 generations below us that a baby does not keep a family together? A baby does not keep a man. That if you have a 9, I don't know the statistics. I almost said 9 out of 10, and then I'll be screaming. But if a man got 2 or 3 baby mamas, and he's 30 and he's sleeping with you raw, what you think he about to have again? Another baby mama. What are you doing? What? Stop focusing on what the man's doing. Just for 5 fucking minutes, women. Stop worrying about what the next man is doing. Stop worrying about what they're doing. Worry about what you are doing. Worry about why you continue to have the same behaviors that create the same shit that you keep continually bitching about over and over again. You're not just creating baby daddies, you're creating generational curses. And you have to be accountable for that shit. So when you are an old wise woman, when you finally decide that you're going to evolve and do something, you know, if there wasn't the access that there was to know now that you can heal and know now that you can make a better way and know now that you can do things different, now is it. There is no more they don't know no better, or they didn't, how would they know, whatever. There's way too much access for people to be at that level of ignorance that this chick is, that she would do something like this, be involved in that type of relationship, walk away from the relationship, hide the baby, and then blast this dude 2 years later and all of his business and say all this shit about him. And have no regards for her child or the energy that she's passing to her. Then a lot of females think they can't live without a man. Females don't really think that far. It's ridiculous that females don't think that far. They have to think they can't live without a man, but most of them do. I mean, most of them do live without a man, even when they get a man. Even when they get a man, they live without a man because there's so many things as a woman that we look or can look for in a man, or to whatever be the case. But again, we have got to stop focusing on what men are doing and how they're behaving and all of that. We need to focus on us. We need to focus on women. We need to focus on our feminine energy. We need to focus on expanding that feminine energy as much as possible. We need to focus on transferring that feminine energy onto the next generations. We need to focus on healing that feminine energy generationally. We need to focus on nurturing generationally. We need to stop fucking worrying about men, and what they're doing with their lives. Women need to focus on themselves, period. Absolutely 100%, period. They need to focus on themselves. They need to stop worrying about what the next man is doing and focus on themselves, because all the lying, cheating, deceptive, loud mouth, loud talk, all of that is not attractive. Lying is not attractive. Chaos is not attractive. Anger is not attractive. Hostility is not attractive. If that's attracted to you, then find some little fetish site where you can be angry with a woman and take it out on her safely, sexually, or whatever be the case, okay? In safe environment, doing safe shit under boundaries and those type of things, if that's what you're into. But for the most part, we need to be worrying about how to become peaceful. We need to be worrying about how to become honest. We need to be worried about how we can become feminine, how we can utilize our feminine energy to become the best women that we can become. Lying is the death of relationships. Lying is part of brokenness. It is the part of it, and it's not always lying. Sometimes it is, the woman trying to convince the man, or the man trying to convince the woman to be a different type of woman and or man for them, so that they can be happy. And in turn, it's ineffective. People, I don't understand lying in a relationship. So again, Jay, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why. I mean, I don't get it. Now, I know why women lie, and I can see why women would lie if they're in a bad situation or in a bad relationship, in a bad situation in that relationship. I could see why they would lie, like to keep themselves safe or whatever. I lied a lot in my relationship, but I lied to keep myself safe. I didn't lie about like relationships and stuff. I didn't lie. That's not true. That's not necessarily true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I told some lies to keep my kids safe. I told some lies to my kids to keep them oblivious. I've told some lies to him to keep myself safe. I mean, I have definitely been in a situation where, but not as, for like a harming factor, or that I was cheating, or that I was doing something that I shouldn't do, or, whatever be the case. It was, basically for the sake of my, survival, basically. But but that's not what we're talking about, to be honest with you. If you're talking about, how you doing? If we're talking about women and the lies that they tell, that comes from a broken place. That comes from insecurities. That comes from mistrust. That comes from all of those things, childhood and or otherwise. And again, we're quick to blame a man for the way that we behave. But at the end of the day, before that man got there, before you chose him, something was broken in you that you chose it. 9 times out of 10 from your teenage years or from your childhood, that's unresolved. And let me just tell you what I learned this week. Even if it is unresolved, or even, let me say, even if it is resolved, if you haven't addressed the behaviors that were attached to that trauma, you're going to repeat the behaviors. You have to figure out what behaviors were attached to that, what way do you behave based on that trauma? And then you got to find those behaviors. I forgot that part. I'm going to be honest. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing the last couple of months, is realizing that I have these behaviors and then backtracking to a place of the trauma and then realizing I addressed the trauma already. I'm not dealing with the trauma. I'm dealing with the behaviors that stem from that I never changed. I made up in my head a whole story that went with the story, or whatever be the case, that got me to the position where I have these behaviors, if that makes sense. I love you too, baby girl. I love you too. But at this point, we're out of control and somebody needs to speak up. And women were not receptive when Kevin Samuels spoke to them. And, they're really, a lot of women aren't receptive even when women are speaking to them, but we're the only ones who can. At the end of the day, the women are the only ones that can speak to the women, and, if you're still choosing and involved with people who have bad behavior, you have to address that in yourself. Is there a reason why? Is this just a behavior pattern? Is this just what I'm comfortable in? Is just this how I'm moving? Is this who I am and I need to adjust it? Or is this just me operating at a lower level energy that I'm comfortable with, but now I've moved up to this next level energy and I need to, start being comfortable in it? Are you still on Podbean? I haven't been on Podbean in a couple of months. I'm going to be honest with you. And I haven't repaid my subscription. I haven't lost it, but I'm not, like, it's not active. I'm inactive, or whatever you want to say, for right now. So I haven't done it in a minute. I'm not saying I won't. I don't know. I might move off that platform. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, baby. With that, I don't know what I'm doing yet. So, but I haven't been on in probably about 6 weeks, at least. It may be longer, maybe 2 months. And I haven't been on here 7. You late? I'm about to close out, baby. You late. So, I appreciate everybody who came on the show. I know I've been away, like I said, and I do apologize for that. But at the same time, I don't, because my mental health is really important. I have fought very hard to find peace in my life. And when I cannot afford myself that luxury, then I have to stop what I'm doing and figure out a way to do that, because I'm going to win. Like I am going to win. I am going to make it. I am going to be the one. Not my favorite word. 7 is probably going to pass out when I say this, but I have a testimony. I have a testimony. Bottom line, I have a testimony, and it is my life that is my testimony, and what I've been through, and what I've done to heal. And I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give up yet. I'm close. I'm at capacity, but but not just yet. I just feel like no matter what, I can't go back now. I worked so hard to maintain. I did all the right shit. I did everything everybody says you should do. I've been alone. I did my therapy. I, took all these classes and did all these things and got healthy, and I did it all. And I hate that I would do it all in vain. So until, I just, I'm feeling like I just can't anymore. I'm going to do. So that's what I'm doing. Big shout out to Jay. I appreciate him. He's had a rough few weeks with me, and I appreciate him being patient with me and letting me take, the time to get my mind right or whatever. Your mental health is important. There is a lot of insane shit going on in the world. I do not watch TV, but all of my friends tell me when I speak to them a story about what they've heard that's relatable to them, and I'm just in awe. And today is no different than that day. I've heard an amazing story today that is just heartbreaking and tragic on every level it can be, and it's within my circle, and it's tragic. So thank you guys for showing up and listening to me talk to myself, even if you didn't come on the show. I appreciate you guys engaging. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share the shit out of the show. You can do that whether I'm live or whether I'm not. And again, big shout out to SavageCom.Entertainment. I appreciate the platform. Seven, Tiff, Natasha was on, Caitlin, Unapologetic. I'm going by memory, you guys. I think I got anybody. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to. And we will see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here. Thank you, and create a great night. All right, everybody, here's the deal. I am on my way over to SavageCom.Entertainment because I fell in love with Kimberly Michael, and I want to follow all of her videos. By the way, she's me. I'm her. So follow me over there, SavageCom.Entertainment. Look me up, In Love with Kimberly Michael, so you can fall in love with me too. A woman, so I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Around screaming that they're healed from their trauma self, which is the whole point of the show is women and accountability and women in accountability. I can hold myself accountable.